Hi, good afternoon all, and wish you all a very happy festival season. As Mr. Ashok had mentioned, happy Lohri, Sakranti, Pongal, everything. And also we are having this seminar on a very positive note. Today only gold has hit the highest ever level in terms of Indian rupees. And the way it is progressing, it seems even on the international level, we may see a new high very soon. What do you think, Mr. Gautam?
Yeah, Harish ji, I would refrain from commenting on the gold prices.
So I really welcome you all and thank you, Ashok and Arjun, to join this webinar today to discuss this latest circular issued by IFSCA. So one thing in the introduction, I would like to say that the regulators, all of the regulators, I would say, because to issue these kind of circulars, there have to be more regulators who have to be aligned. So there are enough indications and there are enough evidences to believe that every regulator is aligned on the thought that Iibx is a great initiative and it will be the future how the gold is traded in this country going forward. With these words, I welcome Ashok to open this session. And in fact, why don't you start with explaining about this? What is the problem it is trying to resolve? And can we expect after this that a substantial volume is recorded at this platform? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Harish ji, and Arjun ji, I can see you. And all the participants, a very happy new year, and all the festivals which we just celebrated. Happy Makar Sankranti, happy Lohri, Pongal, Bihu, across India. This is one festival which is in various names and shapes and forms. It is celebrated across India. And greetings from Iibx to all of you. And we got a bit early Makar Sankranti, Lohri and Pongal wishes from the regulator. On 11th January, we got the gift from them for all the TRQ holders, and a very, I would say, in a very simple terms, a very comprehensively stated circular was issued. And so I always say that, and Harish, you mentioned it very well. You know, all the regulators are working in tandem, not only the regulators, various government departments. And whenever these things are issued, I am sure at the back, all these discussions take place. And this is all part of a continuum. You know, you mentioned about that everybody is aligned that Iibx has to, fulfill its role, which no less than the Prime Minister of the country has set for it, and we all are determined to make that happen. If we also go a little bit in time, and then I'll just come to this circular, so we'll know that this is a part of a continuum, and this is let me also assure all our participants that this is a journey. It's not stopping here. It's just facilitating further journey. So as we all know, our regulator IFSCA had issued various circulars, guidelines for Iibx and the Bullion Exchange per se. Iibx came into being, and last year around this time, DGFT actually enabled qualified jewelers to whereby they said that yes, qualified jewelers can import gold through Iibx, and qualified jewelers as specified by IFSCA. So IFSCA specified entities who are meeting A, B, C, and D and E criteria, so they can become qualified jewelers. So within that qualified jewelers, there was something which was the net worth criteria of 25 CR. So I'll put a full stop here, comma rather, and then talk about other initiatives and then come back to this point, because this is something which we'll talk about. And after that, we saw Reserve Bank of India issuing circular whereby they enabled dollar flow to Iibx because there was a technicality. So they enabled that dollar can be sent in advance to buy gold from Iibx by the qualified jewelers and specified various things. And after that, another initiative which was taken was that Indian banks who have a IFSC banking unit, they were allowed to apply to Reserve Bank of India, and in turn, after that, apply to IFSCA through Iibx, whereby they can become a professional clearing member. So this was again a very welcome change. After that, in December, we saw a huge leap forward, which was that the resident entities who are exposed to the gold price risk were allowed to hedge their gold price risk on the exchanges at IFSC. This circular was issued by Reserve Bank of India, and that's where Iibx again comes into play, and we'll talk about it later. But today's ambit is this. And now IFSCA has issued this circular regarding the QJ TRQ. Here, I would also make one point that because I have been part of various discussions across with the ministry, with IGPC, and with other think tanks, with various associations, we are doing outreach programs. We are physically going out and arranging programs. We are also attending and doing various webinars for various associations and councils. They are also inviting us in their programs. And one thing which I want to tell you, that whatever feedback the market gives us, it becomes incumbent upon us that we share that feedback with the regulator. And regulator also on their own, I don't want to preempt it by saying this, but because you all know, they also reach out to market to collect the feedback. So anything what you see coming up as a circular, there is a lot of background work which has been done, so that what market wants, what enablements are needed to further refine the processes, further improve the offerings at Iibx, then these circulars are issued. So now coming to this piece, so let me now give the circular number also, because it's very important. It's 415 stroke IFSCA stroke consolidated operating guidelines stroke 202223, dated 11 January 2023, the circular issued by IFSCA. That's a very important circular, essentially for the TRQ holders. As we all know, Indian government and UAE government, they entered into a comprehensive economic participation agreement called SEPA, whereby there are a lot of concessions which UAE has given for the goods which are getting exported from India and getting imported in UAE. And similarly, on the other side, there were some concessions offered on certain things. So one of the key things which affect us in the bullion industry is that the gold, there is a quota fixed for that in a first year, which is around 120 tons. The gold bars which are meeting UAE good delivery standards, and they are accompanied by a certificate of origin issued by the Ministry of Economy of UAE. That gold, gold bars, when they come in, they can come at minus 1% custom duty. What does it mean? That if the total duty is 15%, then these bars can be imported at 14%. So whatever is the duty, 1% discount will be given on the custom duty. That is the agreement. And this amount keeps increasing, what I understand, every year 20 tons, and it reaches up to a max of 200 tons. Now, if we look at this whole number, this number itself is a large number, because if we look at the gold which comes in India on consignment model, that touches around 200 tons, if you know, and of course, then there are other pieces linked to it. Having said that, it also immediately, brought Iibx also in action, that we reached out to the regulator and to the ministry, and whereby regulator actually played a very important role in this, that they convinced the ministry and all that UAE SEPA gold to a larger extent should come through Iibx. In fact, Commerce Minister, when he visited IFSCA, and we had a discussion with him, and he understood that this is very important, and he immediately there was a evening press conference whereby he announced that all UAE SEPA gold will be enabled through Iibx for import in India. Now that put a lot of responsibilities on all of us, that how do we prepare ourselves, how do we create the products, how do we create the enablements that more and more players are able to join us. So in that context, the market asked, and we also debated this question, because the qualified jeweler per se, the definition which was given, it had one caveat of a net worth of 25 CR. Now, many of the TRQ holders with whom we have been speaking, they reached out to us and they said, we may not be meeting the criteria of the net worth of 25 CR, how this will be done. And then, of course, there were discussions with the regulator, and regulator also had discussions with the market. We had discussions, and as a consequence, this circular has come. So what effectively this circular is saying, that Director General of Foreign Trade, once they have issued a TRQ for a particular entity, then that entity is deemed to be a qualified jeweler in a special category called QJ TRQ, whereby any gold which they have been allowed to import under TRQ, that means there is a quota which has been given to them. And as we go on, you will realize that all this will be happening every quarter. Okay, today it was initially from May to September. Then after that, it was given for Q3. Then it was also given for Q4. And as we all know, today the dates have been extended because only limited quantity of gold has been imported under UAE India SEPA. So what now situation is that any entity, say jeweler or whoever, because this is essentially for jewelers, those who are making jewelry. So if they have applied to the DGFT and they are holding the TRQ, they can also apply to us and can get the status of a qualified jeweler, subcategory TRQ. It puts one or two restrictions on them. That means if they are eligible to come as a normal qualified jeweler, that means they have a 25 crore net worth and they are able to come under that category, then they have to come to Iibx and apply under that category, and then that opens up for them to import gold under SEPA as well as non-SEPA. But once, if for some reasons, and some reasons means the net worth, your net worth is actually below 25 CR, but you have a TRQ, then this special enablement is for those entities who can be, who will be given a status of a QJ TRQ. They will have to apply. We are just uploading some of the circulars very soon on that, so that every SOP is very clearly stated. We'll also reach out to our depository to make the things very clear, comprehensive, in a time-bound manner. This can proceed, so that once you apply to the Iibx and that notification is issued, then these entities will be called QJ TRQ, and under SEPA, whatever TRQ has been issued to them for that quarter or for that time period, within that they can take the gold through Iibx, and when they do the custom clearance, they will be paying 1% less duty. So Harish, I thought this is nutshell what this circular talks about. I gave a little bit of the history also, how we reached here. Over to you, and any other points come, we'll have a further clarification.
Thank you for a very comprehensive explanation and giving us the background. I think it will clarify most of the doubts. I still have a couple of doubts, which I will clarify. One is that I understand, yes, there is no minimum net worth criteria. So if a TRQ is issued by the DGFT, so that is taken at the face value. So from that point of view, onboarding challenges will not be there. And so just correct me if I'm wrong anywhere. But given that these guys would be like these TRQ holders, many of them would be smaller players, and they will not have much of exposure of this kind of a system in the past. I anticipate that there will be some amount of hand holding which will be required. And because they are gonna be the importers on record, and import process is not very easy, as you know. And so there, I think some kind of a hand holding will be required. And I'm sure you are making arrangements for that. Maybe your SOP may clarify certain things as to, is there a system where this whole system can be made a little easier for everybody to implement. So that is one. And I also have my doubts, though there is a circular dated 20th of October. In fact, I will request even Arjun to pitch in here. This is regarding the applicability of the IGCR rules, which have been one of the stumbling block for the QJs to import under SEPA. So I'm sure 20th October, there has been a circular issue, but it does that clarify everything. I haven't got much of feedback on that. So if that addresses all of that, then that may be confirmed. Then a couple of more points, which I will just mention them also. Given the TRQ quantities could be, very small as well in certain cases. So some kind of an aggregation may be required. So that also, I think, when you're framing out the SOPs and all, maybe that is something which you can factor in there. And if there are any infrastructure challenges still which are not yet resolved, like for one, like I can mention about the icegate connectivity. So that is something which when we open it up, I think we need to just ensure that all of those things are working and nobody faces any issue. Because once the momentum is started, there should not be any interruptions or disruptions, so to say. The markets keep on coming in discount and premium, that is all temporary. So, but whenever market is up, like, there is an opportunity to import gold under SEPA, IIBX should be taking the maximum benefit out of it. And so that's the whole objective about all of these points which I have raised. Over to you, sir.
Okay, Harish, thank you. I think the first point which you raised is a very, very valid point. And I'll tell you some of the steps which we have already taken. But further for the TRQ also, these will be strengthened. We invite all your participants to refer to our website. And in the website, there is a button called Knowledge Center. So kindly go through our website, which is www.iibx.co.in. There you will see the Knowledge Center button. So kindly go there and you will find a lot of SOPs are given in a very simple way. The flow charts are given. And also on our website, you will find phone numbers and email IDs of membership group as well as a business development. These are your two principal contacts. Obviously, we all are there as management, we are there. But these are your, so membership queries will be all answered by the membership group whose email ID and phone numbers are there. And BD is for business development. And I'll also tell you what we have done. We also assign a relationship manager to all the qualified jewelers. So even for the TRQs, we'll be assigning relationship managers. It's not only one person, there is always a backup of two. So there is a 3-tiered relationship team which will be catering to the qualified jewelers. So the idea is that at no stage, they should feel lost. And when they are even trying to apply, then we do hand holding, what all documents are required. We make an effort that everything is advised at one stage and there is a conversation on, so that there is a clarity on what all documents are given and they can give it in one shot. But here it will be a little simpler because already a lot of things are taken care of in the circular itself. But the second thing is, I also want to tell through this webinar that we also have periodic mock trading sessions.
Okay.
Because that is also very important. We understand that most of the jewelers essentially, I'm sure many of them in their own personal capacity, they might have done the equity trading and they might be also trading on the domestic exchanges on gold and futures and other such things. Having said that, I still believe that the responsibility is on us, that we handhold, we train the qualified jewelers that how the trading is to be done, how the trading system looks like, and what all is to be done by them. The feedback is, I mean, people find it very simple to use, but that does not mean that it will not be done. It will be done. It will be done on demand. There is a calendar for mock, every Saturday, or now we will make it more intensive. Earlier we were doing it every fortnight. Then initially we did every week. Now we'll again do it every week on Saturdays. We encourage a lot of people who are still not QJs or who have not yet got the QJ TRQ status with us to kindly, come and do the mock trading, learn how it is done. Our teams are there and they do it very well. I know one session I have set myself, and I find they explain things in a very simple manner. Nevertheless, the SOPs are there, because Harish, the point you are making is extremely important point from our side, that how do we reach out to the people? How do we penetrate the market? Because this is something which is an entirely new thing, new concept. And I also want to tell you, this is a new concept which the market wanted. Now that it has been created, so it is extremely important that they start taking the benefit out of it. So this was on the SOP piece. And for the TRQ, for this also, as our SOP is on, and will be in 1 or 2 days, it will be uploaded on our website, that what will be the process of membership onboarding for QJ TRQs, and for trading and all, what all they should be doing. Here, just want to make one simple point known to everyone, that any entity which is coming as a QJ TRQ, they must necessarily come as a client. That means once they get the status of QJ TRQ, they have to also get onboarded with a trading member, and simultaneously we'll handhold them in opening the demat account with a depository. I also want to use this platform to tell your audience, and through your audience, a wider set of audience, that with our depository, we have worked on a common minimum KYC, so that, those set of documents you need not give again and again, but there'll be certain documents which will be separate, which depository will be taking, but everything will be told to you upfront, so that it's very easy for you to, and we'll be also coming up by this weekend, or maybe early next week, an application tracker. So any applications which are there, so just by logging in, you will be able to know the status of your application, that at what stage they are. So this is, see, we always listen to what market says. We also listen to what our regulator says. We also are guided by our governing board. So many of these initiatives are coming, as a combination of all three. So once this is there, so I believe in the SOP side, I have clarified, Harish, that we will take care. But your point is very valid, that it has to be done. The second thing is, you spoke about IGCR. So I'll just request everybody to go through this public notice of Ministry of Commerce and Industry, which is public notice number 32/2015-2020. This was issued on 20th October. So here, this is specifically for the TRQ. So here what they are saying, today, the TRQ holders, when they have taken the TRQ through DGFT, there when they are giving there is a place called for IC code. IC is the import-export code. So for the IC code, when they are giving, so they have to necessarily give for a nominated agency or nominated bank's IC code, because the gold is imported through them. But because once you get the qualified jeweler status, whether qualified jeweler normal or the qualified jeweler TRQ, then you become the importer. So what has been enabled is that, once we talk about icegate at the 4th point, but once everything is in motion, then you will see in the DGFT application drop-downs that there will be a place to give your own IC code. So if the entity gives its own IC code, that means they will be able to import directly through Iibx under this SEPA. Now, having said that, I'll also read out a very critical point, which probably you were referring to. This is para 2 of this public notice. It says, Further, condition P under Annexure 4 of Appendix 2A shall be inserted. This is they are referring to the earlier public notices of 06 dated 1st May and public notice 23 of 29th August. And I'll read this condition. This condition actually makes things very clear. The IGCR procedure applies to the importer till supply of gold falling under 7108 to end use recipient and filing of monthly statement, right? The restrictions on job work are only relating to the case where it is undertaking on the goods belonging to importer and does not apply to the end use recipient who receives the goods on supply. Therefore, on receipt of goods under 7108, the TRQ holder may utilize the same for manufacture with or without job work. So I think this is a very clear paragraph. And this was one question because there was some, because when we read English, so we sometimes, one or two, what we are trying to say, it gets lost sometimes, in the clarity which is required by the market participants. But I think this thing has now become very clear because that was always the intention. The intention was not to the contrary because, but because there was a nominated agency involved, so the way it was read in a different way. But the feedback was taken and this clarification was issued. So this is regarding your point number 2. Now comes the point number 3. You spoke about small quantity and aggregation and all. So Harish, what I understand that the minimum TRQ which will be given will be at least 1 kg. I do not know exactly what is the minimum has been given. So our contract is for 1 kg. So the small quantities can be taken by anyone who's the QJ TRQ. You spoke about aggregation. So there I have a different view. My view is this, that Government of India, in a very far-sighted way, they have now enabled the entities to import gold directly through Iibx, those who meet certain conditions. So there is no question of aggregation. So at the click of the button, you can take the gold. You can price the gold and the gold can come to you. Obviously, you have to send dollars and other such things are there. So which is not a issue of contention because that process is already well set. Some people might have experienced some issues. We have already spoken to some of the banks where they have not yet put the policy in place. We have reached out to their treasury. We have reached out to their senior executives. Those things will be ironed out. But large number of banks have already, enabled the dollar flow to Iibx. So in my view, there is no need for an aggregation because any entity can import minimum lot of 1 kg. Even though 999 grams is there, but under UAE Good delivery, 999 is still not there because we have not yet seen on their website the technical specifications for the 999. Once it comes, probably we'll launch that contract also under SEPA. And last point is actually the critical point, which is what you talked about, infrastructure. Now, infrastructure one is that though this whole TRQ enablement came much earlier, but why we couldn't start it? For the simple reason that in GIFT IFSC, SEZ, we were on SEZ online, we were not on icegate. Though this pronouncement was already made by Honorable Finance Minister earlier in the budget speech that this is going to be all SEZs will have icegate. So I'm happy to tell that GIFT SEZ, thanks to the intervention of our regulator and very senior officers from ministry, both sides, finance as well as commerce. Now this icegate integration work is in progress. I understand it should happen by this month end, give or take 1 or 2 weeks. So we should be ready within a month of today's date with the icegate at GIFT IFSCs. So what we have been told, once icegate is enabled, then whoever is having the QJ TRQ status or a QJ who is otherwise a QJ but having also the TRQ, they can reach out to DGFT and DGFT will issue them a new TRQ where instead of the nominated agency or nominated bank's IC code, they will have their own IC code, meaning they will be able to import that quantity within that time frame through IIBX. So now I think these are the two things which are remaining. And first thing has to be icegate, and the second thing will be this. So my request is that those who are qualified jeweler and meeting the eligibility criteria, that means they have the TRQ, I request them to reach out to us and start applying, so that once icegate is ready and other things are in place, we activate the supply of UAE Good delivery under SEPA, and they are able to import gold directly. Harish, I hope I have answered all your 4 questions.
Thank you, sir. Arjun, do you want to add anything to whatever we have discussed? Not necessarily these questions which I asked, just on the circular, if you have anything to add.
I think, everything's been explained in great detail. As we are all aware, IIBX will be issuing very shortly, as Ashok sir just said, the necessary guidelines, not only in the context of the application process, but also all other requirements for the QJTRQs to import gold through the SEPA, UAE SEPA route. I think once the guidelines are out in the open, I think we'll have absolute clarity on the procedural aspects as to how this is actually going to happen. So I think we'll have to wait for that. And once that is there, people will be very clear how this is going to work in reality.
So you're sounding like a true legal guy, unless you see it in writing, you can't comment. That's very good. Okay, so no, I think even on the questions, if you have anything to add, like I'm sure Ashok has answered them.
Yeah, it's been answered in great detail.
Yeah,
absolutely great detail. Yeah.
So if we are done, then we can start taking some questions from the participants. I already see one question from Premnath, in fact, 2 of them. So can I take that? Okay, so first one is whether manufacturing of jewelry on job work basis will be permitted against the gold imported by QJTRQ holders through IIBX. So I think Ashok has confirmed. Prem might, if he has any further comments on that, he might write again. And his second question is how the process of import through IIBX can be made better at par with the import through nominated agencies under the consignment model. So for TRQ holders in terms of ease of doing business. So maybe Ashok can take this.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Premnath ji. And so just point which we have been discussing, and the number of other initiatives which we have already set in motion, though all these things will take time. But today, what is the situation? Let me tell you. So today, we have 3 vaults in GIFT IFSC. Total capacity, I can just give a round number, almost 400 tons of gold and 4,000 tons of silver. These 3 are well known to you. And so we have Brinks in association with Loomis. Then we have Sequel in association with Loomis. Then we have Brinks, and then we have Malkamit. So how the gold moves, just tell you. So there are 2 steps in it. Once you have onboarded, I'm getting it, not sitting on the steps of getting onboarded. So I'm assuming that you are onboarded. So there are 2 steps to it. One is the dollar flow. Second is the gold flow. I also want to take this opportunity, and if I have shared on some other platforms, let me reiterate it here. We demonstrated to the industry on 11th October, and I always remember this date. That was a day when 100 kilogram of physical gold came in GIFT IFSC. Same day, 100 equivalent BDRs were created, and the seller's demat account was created. Point number 1. Point number 2, there was a buyer who wanted to buy around 77 kg of gold that day. So that buyer initiated the dollar transaction, INR to dollar transaction on that day. That means on 11th October, they initiated. The dollar through the normal channels of bank, through AD Bank, it came to GIFT IFSC banks. And the dollar was cited and the credit was received, and both the sides were allowed to trade because the BDRs were received and dollars were received same day, one day itself. And when the transaction took place, our clearing starts at 6 p.m. So the process of file transfer and everything was done. The buyer was ready with the custom duty payment. And that day itself, the BDR, which in any case gets transferred from the seller's account to buyer's account, but the physical gold also, with the help of customs, could go out the same day. What I'm saying is that we wanted to demonstrate not only to the bullion industry here, but to the global exchange bullion industry also, that India is the first exchange Iibx is the first exchange in India at GIFT IFSC where same day physical delivery has taken place for the trades done. Now we want to also make it further better. So you will say, what can be better than the same day? From T+0, though it's little premature because a lot of work is going on. But we want to give the gold in your hand within, BDR in your hand. BDR in your hand means BDR in your demat account within 4 hours of your rupee to dollar transaction. That is the goal with which we are working. Idea is also that once this BDR is in your account, you are also able to take the gold out. Today's situation is that we have the vaults in Gift City, Gandhinagar. So what you can say that, the area which is around here, maybe within 200 kilometers of this place can get the gold same day. Yes, they will get the same day. And what about the other centers which are in south, east, north, and other places? So what our vaulting partners have told that as soon as the gold is cleared, say if the gold is cleared today, that means you have paid the customs duty and every such thing. The next day, they will be able to deliver wherever they have the air connectivity, and through that they can transfer to the even smaller towns, tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns. So if your rupee dollar transaction is happening today and trade happens today through that, you will be able to take the gold maximum by next day. This is what our vaulting partners have told us, and they have demonstrated also in many of the cases where deliveries have taken place. So just to tell you, till now, because I'm being very transparent, till now the deliveries have taken place in the state of Gujarat, in the state of Maharashtra, in the state of Kerala, and in the state of Karnataka. So whatever time frame was given after clearance of custom duty, within that time frame, the gold has been shipped and it has been delivered. So this I just want to tell you. So next comes the ease of business, that how can we get gold within, because in domestic area, the entities are paying rupee to the bank and then they are taking the gold same day, right? So what Iibx can do or is doing to come to that level of standards. But here, let me give you a little bit of a caveat. Once you are doing this, there is some certain activities which happen before that. What are those activities? Those activities are as follows. That means you give your intent that you intend to get this much gold in this time frame. Point number 1. Point number 2, you agree on a premium, that the supplier will give this premium and you agree to this premium, and that premium is upfront paid or it is blocked or deposited with the bank. Third, when this gold gets transferred from foreign location or SEZ location to the DTA area, there is a custom duty element, which custom duty element the buyer has to pay. Now these three things happen before you take the gold. Next comes when you are taking the gold. At that time, what is happening? When you are taking the gold, you deposit at least 100% or 110% if you have not priced, and 110% of the value of the gold. And you get a 11-day time to price it, because that is what the consignment model is. Or what you do, that if you are pricing it, then you have to give a pricing margin and then pay it. So delivery will only happen when you have paid the full gold. Now there is in all this, there is a time. It is not 4 hours. from day one to day when you're finally taking, there are certain number of days activity has taken place. In IIBX, that activity actually gets shrunk to 1 day or 2 days. Because right now we are talking about T+0 contract. When we talk about T+2, then we will tell you what are the advantages and what are the other benefits you can derive out of that. But here, if today you decide to take the gold, you like the price or whatever is happening in the market, and then you send the dollar, you can take the gold by tomorrow. You need not you need not block a premium. You need not block, you need not block your money. You just have to remit it, click it, and then whatever is a residual dollar, that also goes back to you. So in my view, this is the ease of business at this stage. Next stage is very exciting. When we are talking about 30, T+30, where every 30 minutes there will be settlement, clearing and settlement, cycle run, then you will be able to take the gold out. And then we are also talking, it's a little bit long work because there's a lot of agencies are involved, a lot of hard work is involved. But let me tell you, government has already enabled that in any of the SEZs, if it is so required, IFSCA empaneled vaults can be opened. Now on that, already work is on. The direction is already given to us that we have to reach out to and have a discussion with the vault managers, vaulting partners, that they need to give us vaults across region. It will happen. It will not happen today. It will happen in next 3 to 6 months. In some centers, it might take a little bit longer, but it will happen. So the point I'm saying is that whatever feedback market is giving, we are taking action on it, thanks to a forward-looking regulator, that we are able to take these steps. And let me assure Mr. Premnath and through this call to everyone, that we ourselves are very mindful of ease of business, because we believe that this exchange will reach its potential only when the users find it beneficial and they find it easy to trade. So today we are just talking about this. We are not talking about derivatives. We'll have a different discussion at some other point. Over to you, Harish.
I think that's like, you just touched upon a point, which I wanted to use it as a wrap up to our session today. Like, just to make it at par with any other form of supply system, hedging and derivatives are as critical. And I'm sure that is a work in progress, and we will, so regulators have enabled it, and we will look forward to that enablement at your level. And of course, we will have another session on that dedicated to that, where I would prefer that, we take some inputs from the participants, and based on that, we structure something which is useful for them. And so that is my idea. I think if we have, so Prem has acknowledged that you have been able to answer his questions to his satisfaction. And I don't see any more questions. And so we will wrap it up at this note, that at some point of time, maybe, we may think of making our competitors our partners, and so that, everybody grows together. So maybe that is a mantra. And with these thoughts, if there are no further questions, I would like to wrap up today's session. Arjun, if you have anything, you can. Okay, Ashok has something. Yeah.
So Harish, I just want to tell you, we don't believe in competition. We believe in co-option. So that's how we work. And we believe that all players have a role to play in making this ecosystem transparent, democratic, ease of business. And that is the goal. And in this whole bullion global market, Indian exchange also has to establish itself and find its place and make a name for it. That can only happen through co-option. And that is a mantra.
So I see one more question now. In fact, Mr. Jitendra Sonegra has requested for some clarification. We can buy only from Dubai suppliers who are in the IIBX list, or from any other supplier from Dubai. So basically he's wanting to know some clarifications on the QS. Maybe you can just.
No, I think this will be clarified. Yeah, sorry, sir.
Yeah, please, Arjun, over to you.
Arjun, yeah, you please take that.
No. I just wanted to say this will obviously be clarified once the guidelines are issued by IIBX, hopefully in the next.
But I think the guidelines may not touch upon this because this process has already been defined. I may be wrong. Ashok, you may correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Harish. So I just want to tell that here, please understand that there are qualified suppliers. And for the SEPA, what type of gold will come from where, it is already defined. So as of now, there are 3 refineries in UAE, which are from where the gold will come. There are qualified suppliers who are already with us, and they will be bringing the gold. So I want to make one point very clear here, that for the qualified jewelers, you are facing the exchange. You are not facing the supplier. So it's an anonymous exchange. So as long as we say that today, whatever is the gold quantity available today with us for SEPA, so you must have the full confidence that that gold meets the requirement because it has a certificate of origin issued by the Ministry of Economy of UAE, and it is coming from the approved refiners, and it meets various standards which have been set by the UAE Good delivery. So you should be having that confidence, and your job is just to send dollars, bid, let the bid match, and take the gold. Who is the supplier? You are not actually getting those suppliers. Suppliers are getting onboarded on exchange directly with the help of our trading members, with the help of our other partners.
So what I could understand from this suggestion is also that I think they're hinting at expanding even the qualified supplier space. So once you have already clarified that there are 3 refineries which are approved under this list, so anybody who can arrange supplies from those from Dubai, so they can, and also meeting the guidelines which you have. So, but is there at any stage do you feel there is a requirement or there is a need to review those guidelines, maybe which will enable even smaller suppliers at Dubai, the way we are expanding it for qualified jewelers? So if I could understand it correctly, I think that is what he meant.
So Harish, there is already a circular issued by a regulator where they have already defined something called qualified supplier. So we go as per those instructions, guidelines, and those who meet those criteria, we enable them as a qualified supplier. And there are certain other. So the point we are trying to make that to be able to physically give bullion in our vaults, you have to become a qualified supplier. So that means a lot of due diligence has been done. And it is required for the integrity and for well-being of the exchange that there is a process through which we onboard the suppliers who can give the physical bullion. As an individual or as any other entity, if you don't want to become a qualified supplier and you are not in the DTA area, then you can do trade and do anything. So you can do buy and sell. But if you want to do sell and also buy, sell and buy, that means you want to initiate the sell first, then you should be a qualified supplier in that sense, where you are meeting all those criteria which we have spelled out. I hope we have answered.
This transaction is meant only for sell purpose only. So because this is under a specific
from domestic only there will be buy, because there is a special quota under which it is coming. So this will be only a straight through.
I think that clarifies.
Yes,
that clarifies. So I think we can wrap it up now. We don't see any more questions. So Mr. Jitendra also has acknowledged his question has been answered. So with this, we wrap up, and I thank both of you, Arjun and Ashok, and all the participants who had the patience to remain connected till the end. Thank you very much. And we'll meet soon on the other topic which we just touched upon. That's on the derivatives. Thank you.
Thank you.